Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. In my mind's eye, I see you, and it's lovely. Um, it's Tuesday morning. I woke up this morning not knowing what day of the week it was, but it is Tuesday. It is the last day of March. Gosh, gosh, where is the year going? And I I'm still thinking about that verse that we talked about yesterday. Um, Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. And thinking about I find myself thinking about Psalm 1, which is all about meditating on the word, isn't it? Psalm 1 says, "Happy are those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or take the path that sinners tread, or sit in the seat of scoffers. But their delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law they meditate day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water, which yield their fruit in its season, and their leaves do not wither. In all they do, they prosper." Now, perhaps one could stop now, because the word meditate here, I mean, we think of meditation like Eastern meditation and reciting the same phrase over and over and over again in a kind of trance-like state. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the word meditation is very similar to the word imagination. So we need to use our imagination as we read the word. It's something to do when we read a story, a story about Jesus when he, I don't know, he and his group of men went through the field gathering the ears of corn and rubbed them in their fingers. See in your mind's eye, just think about them doing that, see them doing that, walking, just ambling across this field with the corn, or round the side of a field gathering the corn. But in this case here, we could stop and we could think, they are like trees planted by streams of water. So see a tree in your mind's eye. Think about a tree by the side of a gentle stream of water. Think about its roots going down underneath. See the tree in this season of the year when the buds are on the tree and they start to come out. The beauty, the shape of the tree. See, I don't know what sort of tree you're seeing in your mind's eye. It might be an oak. It might be a poplar. It might be an evergreen, mightn't it? It might be any sort of tree, but it's a tree. Think about this tree, and the qualities the tree has. What is it about the tree that the psalmist is saying that meditating on the word of God makes us like a tree planted by the rivers of water, by rivers? What it means there, think about it, that tree, because of its proximity to the river, is never going to be without water. There's always going to be a supply of water for that tree. It's never going to its roots are never going to dry out. I've got a rooted Christmas tree I bought last Christmas to put outside, because with our two kittens we can't put anything inside with anything dangling on it. It's a game. They attack everything. My goodness me, you can't leave anything alone, and they play with it. They play with everything. Do you know that their favourite plaything is half a wooden peg? I don't understand it. It doesn't roll or anything, but my goodness, they jump on it, they throw it in the air, they bite it, they love it. It's like children. They're much more interested in the cardboard box than the toy, aren't they? But the kittens. So we had this tree, and it's in a pot outside, and I have to keep watering it, especially when we have dry days like we've had this last week or so. It's been dry, hasn't it? But this tree is planted by the river, and the because of the constant supply of water, it's not in the water, it's by the water. So it's not swamped by the water, but it has enough every day, and the fruit comes in its season without fail, because it's a beautiful tree. It's a tree that is well planted and well cared for. The leaves don't wither on it, because it doesn't dry out. In everything they prosper, the people who are like these trees. So when we're looking at the word of God and thinking about it, we need to let our imagination think about it. Going back to that verse we talked about yesterday, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. And then I was thinking about it, thinking, how would I depict it if I was making an artwork? And I've begun to think about how could I do the letters of one or two of the words in that phrase to look like houses. And when I said that to Rachel when we were talking on FaceTime yesterday, she said, "Why would you do houses?" And I said, "Well, because it says dwell." And she hadn't thought along the lines of living in houses. She wasn't thinking along that track of thought at all. So whatever God is speaking to you today about through his word, let your imagination get hold of it and think on it. Pause and stop. We could so easily run straight over. We could start at the beginning. Happy are those who do not follow the advice of the wicked. What is the advice of the wicked? What is the sort of thing that wicked people advise you to do? Well, do what you please. Nobody's going to judge you. We're free in this country. We can do anything we like. Is that good advice? Let your imagination tell you, take the path that sinners trod, or sit in the seat of scoffers. People who mock everything that's worth anything. But their delight is the law of the Lord. There's another thought. When you read the word, is it a delight or is it a chore? Is it something you do because you know you should do it and you just keep doing it? And I must admit, there are some bits. We've been listening to bits at the end of Numbers recently. We're listening to the audio book by David Suchet, which is absolutely beautifully read. But there's a chapter there where it tells us how everybody made offerings on 14 consecutive days, and it describes every offering that was made on every single day. And you read it and you think, but those passages aside, is our delight reading the law of the Lord? Is it something that fills us with joy? Is it something we look forward to? We need to examine ourselves and think about it and say, Lord, if it isn't my delight, why isn't it my delight? Change my heart so that I delight in your things more than I delight in anything else. So we've only read 3 verses and there's lots of things to think about. So as you read the word, don't read it fast. Stop and think. Let your imagination think about what you're reading. See it in your mind's eye and meditate on the word of God. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. Well, we're meditating together, aren't we? And those of you who want to join us on Zoom at 7 this afternoon for a half-an-hour prayer meeting before we listen separately to the YouTube Sanctuary Space music that I know Phil has recorded for us, or set up for us. Use the numbers to get in on Zoom, and you'll join the conversation at 7. I look forward to seeing your faces and hearing your voices tonight. God bless you. Love you all. Bye-bye for now.